Hi, beautiful soul. It's Shirley Joy Weiss here, and I am super excited for today's topic because I'm going to bring it, like I always do, and really bring a wake-up call to all of us aspiring teachers, coaches, and leaders, as well as anyone wanting a coach. Listen to this entire video as well, because this is also going to make you realize what kind of coach you do want. But really, the message is for all of us who are either currently coaches, healers, teachers, or are just beginning or aspiring to be a coach. Perhaps some of you know that you're here to do something great and you feel like you're here to create some sort of movement, some sort of change. And you're just getting started or at least considering that path. And so I'm here with a wake-up call from my heart to yours about the kind of coaching and healing and teaching that is being called from us in our planet at this time. And I'm going to give it by way of a really interesting topic that I've been noticing lately. And that is some characteristics that I've seen come up in a lot of the coaching that is happening worldwide right now that mimic a lot of the very limiting, frustrating patterns that I saw in the Western medical system. So it's going to be really, really, really juicy. And for those of you tuning in for the first time, my name is Shirley Joy Weiss, and I am a spiritual guide and a soul purpose activation coach. And I'm here to serve and ignite that modern awakening woman, here to make a real impact and live just like a beautiful, delicious life of true purpose and true inner joy. And so if that's you, you're in the right place, beautiful. So let's dive in. What are these three fatal mistakes that I'm seeing happen so commonly in Western medicine that really are taking what could be a really beautiful system and making it not so? And before I go into that, what I do want to say is that if you're a coach, if you're a healer, or if you aspire to be a coach, a leader, a teacher of any kind, I really, really want you to hear this, because this is one of the main messages that I give to my women and to myself all the time. You know, if we're going to be here, let's be here. If we're going to do anything, let's make it epic. Let's make it amazing. Let's make it all the way. And one of the ways that I constantly do that with myself, you know, whenever I'm going to just write an article, whenever I'm going to just do a video, anything that I'm doing with my courses and my trainings for coaches and teachers, I bring some stuff out and then I pause. And sometimes this inner voice will come up and say, Shirley, go deeper. And then deeper I do. And it's amazing what I allow to come through me when I just choose to go deeper, when I just choose to access the infinite well of wisdom that I have, that you have too. We're no different. You'll always hear that from me. And so this is part of the message that I'm going to bring to you today with these three fatal mistakes that I'm realizing a lot of coaches are living today, because I want you to go deeper. If you're going to be a coach, be the most amazing, powerful, transformational coach you can be. Don't just skim the surface with your clients. Don't just, really just give them a way to feel good in the moment, but doesn't have long-term substantial results and change. Go deeper. Go deeper in your writing and your expression and how you show up in life. And I'm always going to be giving that invitation in so many ways, but this is certainly one of them. So if this interests you, you're in the right place. So what are these things? What are these mistakes? And let me just take a step back. You know, before I became a spiritual guide and coach and recovering psychologist, I started off actually as a holistic health counselor many, many years ago. Like 16 years ago, I was a holistic nutritionist and health counselor. And so I got really, really involved with the medical field and health counseling and helping people achieve real health. And so I began to really take a very close look at the medical system. And I want you to know that this is not a video to bash the Western medical system. Let's get that really, really clear right now. The medical system in emergency care is unparalleled. You know, if you have a heart attack, go to the emergency room right now. You know, it's really, there's some things that the Western medical system and care are unparalleled and save lives. So I'm not bashing the Western medical system. Everything in life, the medical system, the legal system, the educational system, the political system, the health coaching system, every coaching system, everything has It's dark and it's light. Or said another way, everything is a beautiful work in progress. And we seemingly go off path, of course, so that we can remember and grow and expand and connect with our true potential more and more and more. So if I am saying things that sound like judgments of the medical system, it's just where they've deviated off path, as I have a million times in my life, being a human being, and where there's room for improvement and growth and expansion. And that's what we are. We're forever expanding beings. So let's go there, right? And so having had this very close look of the medical system, I saw a lot of things that were really not of service, most specifically to the patient and to the system as a whole, and made it very inefficient and sometimes fatal to a fault. And there's so many things that I can go to about the medical system that it could be improved, such as labeling and diagnosis. Diagnosis is one of the most awful things that whether you're a psychiatrist or a medical doctor can do, because it literally takes away our inner power of imagination to imagine something new. And so many people label themselves, oh no, I am this now. But that's not the point of this video. So there are many things in the medical system that can also be improved, like that one. But what I really want to point out are the ones that I'm now also seeing rise up in the coaching field, which again are a call to go deeper for us coaches, to rise into a path, a way of serving that honors our true intention, the original intention of coaching, which was to help people remember their power and live as much of their potential as they can. And interestingly enough, you can really see that as the initial intention of the medical system, to be healers, to be guides, to bring people back to their well-being that they truly are and have inside. And they deviated a little off the path. And so there's some similarities here that I want to really point out, so that whether you're looking for a coach, or you are a coach, or you're looking to become a coach, you can see these red flags and make sure you don't fall in this direction. How does that sound? Good? Okay, so let's count from 3 to 1. And by the time I get to 1, I'm also going to get into the different levels of coaching. I'm not talking about different types of coaches, right? Like different types of coaches. There's like a health coach and a spiritual empowerment coach and a life purpose coach. Those are types of coaches. I'm talking about the levels of coaching. And it's going to be really, really fundamental to know where you're working at. And we'll get that in number 1. So let's start with number 3. One of the 3 most common fatal mistakes that I see in the medical field that I'm now seeing in coaching as well. And ironically, you're going to think this doesn't go with coaching at all, because coaching is all about empowerment. But one of the biggest fatal mistakes that we see so commonly in the Western medical system is disempowerment. So what do I mean by disempowerment? Disempowerment of the patient. And what does that do? It creates a codependent relationship between patient and doctor, where doctor knows all, even though they're not living inside the patient's body. So how do they know all? How do they really know the pains and frustrations of the client, right? The patient? And it takes away that sense of knowing. It disempowers the patient from trusting their own inner voice and creates a codependent relationship. Oh, I got to check with my doctor, and whatever he says is law. Like every field, coaching included, education, every field, it's an evolving science. I think that we should call them all arts, because they're all about practice. They're all an art. And they're all forever evolving. They're not based in a complete understanding of the universe, because we humans don't have a complete understanding of the universe. So to call anything dictated in medicine as fact is, well, a lie. It's not fact. It's false. Doctors will do their very best, but it's ultimately, you can't rely on everything the doctor says as fact. You have to be able to go deeper into your inner knowing. And a lot of people have followed that inner knowing and saved their lives accordingly. Now, I know the doctor's saying this, but I'm going to get a second opinion because I know something's off, right? That kind of thing. Or, you know what? I shouldn't take that pill, but my doctor's telling me to take it. And then you have all kinds of adverse reactions because you went against your inner knowing. Right? Both sides of the coin. And I see a lot of that codependence and actual disempowerment that keeps us in the old paradigm of limited power that we're moving away from in coaching happening too. And it's like how, coaching is all about empowerment. But you see it happening in coaches all the time because so many coaches are putting themselves in the position of like, my system is the way, my knowledge is the way. Without my system and knowledge, you have nothing. Or you're not going to make it, or you're going to fail, or you're going to whatever, catastrophic fear they may be planting, whether directly or indirectly. And it's not so much that. It's not so much that it develops a codependent. I need a coach, right? I need a coach to lose weight, and I need a coach to do that, and I need a coach. And that's not that it's a bad thing. Why reinvent the wheel when someone has figured it out? Life is so short. Let me find the most efficient path. I so believe in the coaching model. So what I'm not saying you don't go to a coach. But what I am saying is like a big wake-up call to coaches and clients to realize a coach is imparting their experience. And we play with that experience. But that doesn't mean it's our law. It doesn't mean it is law. And part of the coach's most fundamental responsibility, in my eyes, is to get you, the client, in touch with your inner sense of knowing and power, because that's true empowerment. And so a coach can do that. And that's probably one of the most greatest gifts a coach can give you. And so now here's my system, but using that unshakable, unparalleled inner knowing that you now have access to, you choose how you're going to navigate through this system. Or better yet, you're going to discover, based on my system, what might be your system. And this is crucial. Because every body, every physical body, every emotional and mental body is different. We're all made up of the same things. And so I'm not denying that coach's system. It could be amazing, fantastic. But you know why not every coach has 100% success with their super successful systems? Well, there's many reasons, but one of them is because that system might just simply not work for everyone. So we can present a system, but are we presenting it in a way that creates a codependent relationship, on someone else, which is ultimately keeping them in that old paradigm of disempowerment, as motivational and as inspirational as it is? Or are you presenting a system in a way that helps them always connect to their truth first? Super key. Okay? So it's the first fatal mistake I'm seeing happen in the coaching world that has been happening in the medical field for so long, right? And we know we are moving. We're in a time moving away. I mentioned that old paradigm. Let me just mention that again for a second. We're moving out of the old paradigm. And I really like to say it's actually not, we're not moving out from the old paradigm into a new paradigm. What we're actually waking up to is the only paradigm that actually exists. And we've been under illusions and misunderstandings that created a seeming paradigm way of being and understanding of life that simply weren't true. Understandings like, something outside of me has the power to create a feeling or sensation or emotion in me. My husband is, at fault when I feel so and so. We're waking up out of that paradigm to rediscover that our experience happens from within, and we have all the power in the world, and our greatest source of wisdom, abundance, and ingenuity is all inside. Right? We're waking up to the real paradigm, and so long as I'm teaching something as a coach that even inadvertently creates a dependence on me, I am not facilitating the entryway into the real paradigm of power, of self-responsibility, of knowing everything happens from within. And that's a coach that I do not want to be. And I know that's a coach you don't want to be too. Because if you're watching this video, you're like me. You wouldn't be sitting here either. Okay, so number two of these super common fatal mistakes I'm seeing in Western medical system, and that's crisis management. So one of the things that we always used to say in this nutritional world, that the healthcare system is not a healthcare system, it's a sick care, right? Because it's not treating health. It's not facilitating health, it's facilitating, well, that was an interesting slip of the tongue. I meant to say it's not treating sickness, but I was going to say facilitating sickness, and, well, that's a whole other topic. Some of you in more conspiracy theory channels may agree with. But anyways, I digress. It's really what we used to say in the nutrition world is that it's doing crisis management on the fires that come out. And so it's going all over the place. Okay, let's treat the crises. Let's treat the crises. Let's put out the fires. Let's put out the fires. And then And so you put out a fire and you experience some health in between. But because you're not treating wellness, whatever kind of might have created that fire jumps up again. Or your habits that are not generating true well-being pop up again. And so another crisis comes up, another crisis comes up. And so you never really get to experience true well-being. And that's a lot what's happening in coaching as well. It's crisis management. It doesn't look that way. It's filled with words of hope and possibility and inspiration, but all it is a lot of crisis management, putting out of fires. And it reinforces, again, the old paradigm where we are not whole and complete already from within, here and now. So what do I mean by that? It reinforces an outside-in experience of reality, right? Before I was talking about that codependence. I'm dependent on the outside for my wisdom, for my guidance. In this part, it's making me codependent on things outside of me to be happy. So what is the version of crisis management of coaching that is, under the guise of so much flowery inspirational language? Weight loss, have your dream man, fulfill your life purpose. Again, this is not bad. I'm not saying we don't offer these wishes. I do. But you're always going to see in most of my writings, my copies, while we also help you find fulfillment now, because I refuse to be part of a system that continues to make you dependent on a circumstance or a condition outside of you for you to find happiness, because that's not true happiness. That's faux happiness completely. And because it's circumstantial and conditional, it is as fleeting as those circumstances, or until the next crisis, whether it's a crisis of confidence, crisis in relationships, crisis, whatever types of crisis it is. And so you go to coach. Okay, I gained weight. I'm in a crisis. I feel really bad about myself. Help me lose weight. Or, oh my God, I'm single. I'm almost 40. What do I do? Help me, help me. What all of those are saying is that I'm not happy and have peace inside myself. And I'm going to use that condition when I get the thin body, when I get the husband and boyfriend, I'll be at peace. Not true peace, right? Because if you lose it, you lose your peace, or it's until the next crisis comes through. And life gives us all kinds of mirrors, especially the media. It's always telling you what you don't have, right? So we got to go deeper. We have to go deeper. And we can move forward with the calling of our desires. Embrace those desires. To me, desires are the seeds of what we are here to experience. So I'm not saying you don't move forward in those desires and you don't say, yeah, you know what? I do want to be healthier and strong and thin. But we go deeper. I find peace now with the 20 pounds extra. I find my love for my body now. I find love for my life now when I'm single. Not when I reach, that when and that syndrome. We got to stop that. And there's so many coaches that inadvertently feeding this old paradigm system that ultimately doesn't make us know true power, true fulfillment. And ironically, the more you embrace the now, the more quickly you'll get to your goals too. Because your goals aren't coming to you because you aren't that person that can hold that yet. So the more you learn to love yourself in your life and experience true power from the inside out and who you really are and love yourself in everything, not when, the more ease with which you move to going through those goals. And when you move towards goals with ease and relax, you don't have to. Your happiness is not dependent on them, right? The more ease you move, the more you flow with higher wisdom, and the more you're perfectly guided, and the more you get straight to your goal. Because that's the power of intuition that we all have, right? When we are moving forward with a lot of gotta do this, angst, insecurity, we clog up our consciousness and we can't hear the wisdom that's wanting to come in, that's going to guide us efficiently. And we're going to get there eventually, but in a very and sometimes exhausting way that really affects your health, mentally, emotionally, physically. So why not go the most direct way, which is the way that your soul wants you to go? Which is the way of peace, the trust, total self-embrace, and love. So I don't want you to be a coach that is just fulfilling a wish, but inadvertently affirming the old paradigm of when happiness, which is faux happiness. All right, so that's number 2. And so number 1, of these epic failures that I see in the medical system that really keep it from being powerful and efficient and have deviated from its true path of let me create health is like a very common one, but you're going to get a really unique Shirley Joy twist here. Let's bring them. Symptom management, right? That's like the foundation of the Western medical system. It manages symptoms. And fortunately, there's a lot of what's called integrative care that's coming forth because they're finally seeing how disastrous it is to be symptom manager when it doesn't take care of the whole. It doesn't have you access something deeper, right? And so this is not an exact parallel with the coaching, but you're going to see how this is truly alive in the coaching world. And what it does in the coaching world, it really keeps coaches at the super surface. And so this is where we're going to talk about the different levels that a coach can work with. And so symptom management, in healthcare is we see why it's disastrous, because you're only plugging up a certain symptom but not getting to the root cause where true health can arise once that real cause of the symptom is balanced. But when you just take a pill to plug up the system, right, that root imbalance is still present, and so the body's just gonna just express it another way. So it's very inefficient, and you feel temporary relief. So this is very similar to the other one, but just in a different way. And this is what I'm seeing the majority of coaches and teachers and even psychologists really are dealing with. They are symptom coaches. And again, this is another way of understanding what I was just talking about. So you have a crisis of confidence, or you have a crisis of fulfillment, or you have a crisis in relationship, whatever crisis, whatever lack of fulfillment or happiness you're feeling. And so you go to a coach, and so the coach asks you, okay, what's wrong? In other words, they're asking you, what's your symptom? Just the same way a doctor would. And so you're saying, well, I'm single, I feel really alone, I'm scared, I'm never going to find my partner, whatever, right? Whatever it is. And the coach is like, all right, we can help you find your partner. I'm a relationship coach, I've helped so many women find partners, great. And so you come up with the goal. The goal is to find a partner, and then you come up with a plan. You set up a plan, and you're going to set up your dating profile, and you're going to go on 3 dates a week with 3 different guys, and you're not going to worry about any of them so that you're relaxed, and you get all the perfect tips, right? And they tell you how to fill out the profile. And the coach is super accountable. They're on your side, rooting you on. Sounds great, right? Want to lose 10 pounds? Okay. Get rid of the carbs, whatever, right? Again, affirms old paradigm of happiness outside of me. Happiness when, not happiness now. And if this is not like the most fundamental deviation for the true intention of coaching, I don't know what is. The true intention of coaching is to create true fulfillment and transformation and empowerment. And so long as we're giving our power of happiness to something outside of us, not true coaching, not aligned with the true intention of coaching. And so that's the first level where I would say, this is a totally random number, but let's just throw 60% of coaches are functioning at. And that's all right. They figured out a system that worked for them, and so now they're an expert, and they're going to teach everyone an expert, and they are an expert on their system. But they may not be an expert on deeper empowerment. And that's what's happening. And so some coaches started to catch on to that as coaching developed, and they started to realize, well, okay, I get that some systems don't work for everybody because everybody is different. But why am I, they started to really question themselves, why am I achieving success with these clients and not these clients? It's like, oh, mindsets. They have negative thinking. They have negative beliefs. And thus was born now second level of coaching, which was a huge improvement, which was the whole mindset movement. So now you have abundance mindset, and you have business mindset, and you have love mindset, and all these mindsets, right? And really about discovering the greatest mindset of possibility and whatever goal you want to achieve in life. And this is where NLP comes in, neuro linguistics programming, which is finding the exact words that we're limiting, and the exact words are going to bring your mission and self to life. And it's really powerful. And I studied this deeply, and I studied conscious language, and I became super laser in my beginning years, as a coach, and like listening to the words of the person and what they were saying that was limiting. And so I wasn't really present with the person, but I was listening for their words and their limitation, and then I was helping them transform it really powerfully, and it felt really exciting in the moment. And we would help them rewrite all kinds of life scripts and create ideal visions. And it was like, boom! And then nothing would happen. Or sometimes little shifts would happen for sure, and they experienced definitely some shifts and some improvements, but crisis would still hit, and they would still kind of lose their center really powerfully, and or they would achieve really good improvements in one area of life but not in others, and there was still like a general underlying thread of uneasiness and fear still there. And so the slightest negative thought, or the slightest dip in the economy, or the slightest dip in income, they lose their center. And this was happening to me as well. Like, I've become this powerful, creator and manifester, and I trained in manifestation, all these things, and some things come to life really powerfully, and I decree them, and some things don't. And I got really swept up by that whole movement as well many years ago. And so it was again the universe saying, surely go deeper. Surely go deeper. Because it was like life was a roller coaster. And I had my moments of like ecstasy and bliss and feeling like everything was moving and happening, and moments where I was like in a hole for a really long time. One of my teachers, he was actually one of the greatest NLP trainers around. And he said it in this really perfect way. For those of you that are familiar with NLP, he's no longer an NLP trainer. I believe he was the most watched NLP trainer on YouTube, just to give you an idea of how big he was. And he said when he woke up to what I'm about to share with you as well, is that he realized, oh my goodness, I'm just helping people turn ugly lies into pretty lies. In other words, we're just like helping people rearrange the furniture in their mind to ways that kind of feel a little bit better. That's not true awakening. That's not true empowerment. Because it's like being a dreamer and you forget you're the dreamer, right? When you're in a dream, you get totally caught up in it. And you don't even know, you can't even say, I can't wait to wake up, because you don't know you're dreaming. And if it's a nightmare, forget about it. And even when you have a pretty dream, if you forget you're dreaming, you get all caught up in it. That's worse, because if it suddenly turns into a nightmare, oh my God, you do everything possible to get away from it. And that's how most of us have been living life, right? Getting really caught up in it. But what happens when you know you're the dreamer? When you remember you're the dreamer, it doesn't matter if you're having a nightmare or if you're having a pretty flower-filled dream. As soon as you wake up, you're like, it's just a dream, no matter how horrific the nightmare, right? It's not real. You can go about with your day. So you just shrug it off, right? You don't freak out for a second, why did I have that nightmare? Unless, whatever. I'm not going to digress into, dreams that might be foretelling. And a few of us have those dreams, those prophetic dreams, but most dreams aren't bad. The majority, huge percentage of dreams are not bad for the most of humanity. And you don't let yourself be totally hung up by a negative dream for the entire day. But that's what we're actually doing with our thoughts. We take our thoughts so real, we take the stories in our minds so real that if we're having a bad one, we do everything possible to make it a good one. And why do affirmations not really work in the end? Or why sometimes you say all the most positive words and still you feel like it's threads of fear and doubt underneath it all? Because you haven't woke up to being the dreamer. You still think it's all real. And so you're in this forever search of having only positive thoughts and experiences, rather than allowing the experience to just flow through you as it's meant to, and you knowing that you are the center behind it all, the beautiful witness, the beautiful, impenetrable, unshakable soul behind it all that knows that it's all perfectly serving a greater purpose for you, for everyone, and everything unfolding is unfolding for your highest evolution. But you forget that on a daily basis. You might get it up here, but you haven't gotten it here where it counts, and you get all caught up in the negativity or the positivity in both. And then you're at the mercy of the waves of those, rather than knowing how to stay centered through it all. And so this is the deepest layer that a coach can work with, waking us up to who we truly are, really looking under the hood, not to the thoughts happening at the surface and the circumstance happening at the surface, but to who we truly are, our true spiritual nature. And getting more curious about that rather than getting curious about the stories and spending so much time in the stories, which actually only build them up. And if you're creating positive out of fear because you're running away from a negative, it's still just as much of an ego dance as anything else. Your true center, your soul, knows otherwise. And it's calm. And you can learn to feel at peace through it all. Okay, I'm having a funk. I'm having a major funk, and it's all right. You can learn to get to that level of mastery. And these are the kind of coaches that are beginning just now to emerge. The coaches that are awakening the real paradigm of inside-out living, that you see life and experience for what it really is, and you know who you truly are, your true spiritual nature. And so you know how to let go of thoughts that don't serve you, and you know how to not just fervently decree positive thoughts, but to actually just be relaxed and be a vehicle for highest wisdom, highest thoughts to come through. And then you become a channel in your life. And you get told to go left instead of right without even realize it's just a knowing, but it's that guidance coming through. And you meet the love of your life. And your business does amazing things, and you feel good all of the time. You feel at peace. I don't even want to call it good. You know, you understand, you flow. And this is the invitation for me, for all of us, to reach this level of mastery. This is what is available for us. So whether you're an aspiring coach or want a coach, I want to invite you to go deeper. Don't just seek to fulfill the symptom and, and get rid of the crisis so you feel good temporarily, but are still forever codependent on circumstances and conditions and what people say outside of you to be at peace. Go deeper. Find that space within that knows who you truly are. And people can say what they want around you, and it doesn't matter. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. A lot of us know that conceptually, but because we haven't truly awakened to the inside-out nature of reality, and we're still into the trap of the outside-in nature of reality, blaming our coaches when things don't go our way, blaming our husbands for feeling anything but ecstatic. We might get it mentally, but we don't live it. And so to know and not to do is not to know. And so I want you to be the kind of coach that not only gets this so you can bring it to your clients, but then be the kind of coach who can bring this transformation to your clients, because that's when we become unstoppable. That's when we get that the leadership journey has all kinds of twists and turns. The leadership journey, the entrepreneurial journey, the wife journey, all the journeys have all kinds of twists and turns. And then we become willing, curious participants on the turns rather than like freaking out, contracting every time, or throwing in the towel before it's time. This is when you know that you are the greatest source of creativity of all. And it all comes from within. And this is the kind of coach that I am always making a commitment to model, to be. And this is the one kind of coach that I want you, that I invite you, that I suggest for you to consider to be. Because then you're going to be a true agent of transformation, because every single soul that you touch will be one more soul out there not blaming the traffic, not blaming the economy, not blaming politics for their frustrations, clearing their frustrations on their own and feeling peace. That'll be one more soul sitting in traffic, sending love out to the universe rather than sending frustration out to the universe. That'll be one more soul living in love, radiating light and possibility. And that is more powerful than anything else. And there's more and more souls awakening to this power and true possibility today. And that's why we're seeing so many shifts. So be part by first being this yourself, and then being the kind of coach that creates this in others. And yes, you can still focus on those plans and those goals and get really excited about the journey that you're teaching, but always coming from this rooted center of knowing, of already full, already whole, here and now. So that is my lesson for today. I hope you enjoyed hearing it as much as I enjoyed giving it. This is what happens when we're asked to go deeper. I know that's what you're ready for. And for those of you interested in becoming a coach, I'm starting another coaching training next week. Or if you are a coach already, but you want to be this kind of coach, this is actually going to be a very small, intimate group, because you get a lot of direct interaction with me, and it's going to be a mega boost to being an empowered, true spiritual leader for yourself first, and then for others. And so it's by invitation only. But if you're interested in that, or just to talk to me, sometimes I have space for one-on-one clients as well. Feel free to reach out to me, Shirley at shirleyjoyweiss.com. And otherwise, keep tuning in at Soul Activation Thursdays, because I bring it big all the time. I love you all. Till next time, you are already perfect, ready, and whole. And you can do this now. I love you. Take care, everyone.